Hello, welcome on board. Thank you for joining us. We want to talk today about day zero. A few years ago, I was in South Africa, in Cape Town. I had my leadership team. On purpose, I took them there because it was in the middle of day zero. And what better to take your water team to go and experience what it means. And for me, it was really a shock because everything was locked. So you go to the shopping mall, all the toilets are tap water are locked except one small drizzling one. And then really like everywhere, it was the same challenge. So I think you're the best colleague to talk about the topic. And my first question, what is day zero? In fact, what is it about?
So day zero is, I think, a term that's been borrowed from wars and the likes. But so we classify, correctly or incorrectly, day zero as the day when your taps run dry. So the local water authority in South Africa, it's a municipality, as the water service provider, is unable to provide water on a consistent basis. So Cape Town missed it just as it was saved by agricultural input that bought Cape Town 27 days, which then had the rains and the likes. So from that perspective, Cape Town managed to save themselves, but through some very high tariffs, water shedding, water pressure demand management, which saved considerable amounts of water, good PR campaign, unfavorable and unpopular water tariffs and the likes. And I think the people in Cape Town are very aware now of the potential threat. The irony in South Africa at the moment is that we have over 90% level, the average for our national dams, but we have one area that really has no water. It's not the Eastern Cape. So the Eastern Cape province, one of our 9 provinces, has it's over 80%. The water's fine, except in the Nelson Mandela Bay, which is a metropole made up of a few towns, and Port Elizabeth, which is now called Kebeke, would be something that people know. The 1820 settlers arrived there from England. But so its immediate vicinity has not had the usual rain for 7 years. And we allow the situation we watch it, and we just see the situation get worse and worse. And the main reason for this in Kebeke has been that there's a political tussle. So water water is a backseat in our country, unfortunately, for the last decade or two, but it took an absolute backseat whilst the political fights took place and officials weren't able to do their jobs. People have not been paying. There's been very little, let's say, governance. And also the non-revenue water is at 39%. This is a municipal number, and I think it's very conservative. Our national average is 41, and physical leaks is in Nelson Mandela Bay, 75% of that. So we're talking 85 megaliters a day, and they have not halved their consumption from 390. They're 290 megaliters a day. They should be at 150. And folk get fickle when we put into a corner, and people are saying, I'm not going to reduce it and close my taps because you, the municipality, are leaking because the infrastructure is broken. So that's really what's brought us to this. And it's a social problem. It's a political problem. There's no lack of technology, engineers, and materials.
So what is the solution? There is no technology gap. So what is the solution?
So the solution, from my perspective, it's multifaceted. So it's not simple. But the first thing is become an active citizen. Demand performance from, we've got 3 tiers of government, local, provincial, national. Demand performance, elect people who will perform, and unelect and remove people who don't. And we haven't done this. We're young. We're not even 30 years into democracy, and we haven't figured out how it works. So now we've got coalitions in the ruling party has lost virtually all the metros, and we've got coalitions in there, and they're very delicate. And as soon as somebody sneezes, the coalition breaks apart, somebody else comes in. So there's no continuity, and there's a lack of leadership. We have a circular economy in our political circle. We are recycling politicians like nobody else in the world that I've seen. And it's as bad having somebody in a position for 30 years as a politician, but yeah, we have them for 3 months and they're gone. They get recycled for and redeployed and all the likes. So it's a political issue that I think our constitution talks to how to sort it out. People need to be more active. Putting the price up of commodities is really unacceptable, especially with food prices skyrocketing with the Ukraine crisis at the moment. But also we've got to put in our basket of costs in the month, water is it's gone up by 450% in the last 10 years, and people are still not watching it. It's going to start biting. So now we have to, so I think water is becoming, like energy, quite an important thing in our lives. The difference in energy alternatives, water isn't. It's H2O and that's it.
So my last question, because we're running out of time and we still have Dr. Nuria. So is it a South African problem, or you think it's global? And if global, what cities are next?
I think it's a global problem. It is hitting, for example, northern Italy at the moment because of the heat wave. And Rome, a couple of years, 3, 4 years ago, same time as Cape Town, nearly ran out. So, and we've got the West Coast, California is also is getting close to potential day zeros. So I think we've got the stochastic situation with climate change, big populations, urbanization, and South Africa is no different. We've got twice the temperature rise of the global average. So we've got things moving, becoming unpredictable. We've had floods in KwaZulu-Natal, where Durban is, called eThekwini now. And yes, we've got too much, not enough water. I think it's a global issue. South Africa is at the tip of the continent and is getting the brunt of it because we've got a collapse of governance and we've got these vagaries of nature, extreme population growth. In the last 40 years, we've doubled our population. And the water reserve was fully allocated 20 years ago, exactly 20 years ago. So we've got a perfect storm, but I think we've also got the perfect storm for solutions. And that's really where we have to come in. We've got solutions, but it's multifaceted, it's complex. So we need better politicians, better officials, and better citizens. And because the climate is not going to get better.
Thank you a lot, Benoit. Thanks for your contribution. We stay in touch. Thanks.
My pleasure.